speaker. But before we go on to do that, let me quickly share my slides. Become life learning. Learning is living. Okay, so we're going to start today. I hope we are all ready.
Dr. Elizabeth Lucas is a dynamic and motivation speaker. She is based in the United Kingdom. She is the founder and director of Y.Y.C.I International. She has been invited to several international conferences to speak and lecture. She is an intelligent teacher, author, and she is a mentor to the younger generation. Please subscribe to YYCI TV on YouTube to watch her amazing videos. You will be glad you did.
This is just to let you know that there's nothing too difficult for you to do.
If we can change, then everything around us will change.
Without wisdom, you can't really create wealth. We're in the world of creativity. So may I encourage you to subscribe to YYCI.TV YouTube channel so that you can gain more knowledge from this, our teaching, and also our previous conferences and masterclass and seminars. Also, you will gain a lot from our various leaders and myself from our inspirational nugget of wisdom. So subscribe to YYCI.TV YouTube channel. Okay, now we want to talk about something very important before we go on. Let me first of all welcome you to Yes You Can International Academy, a home of discovery, development, and demonstration, a home of love, relationship, and family, a place of mastering mindset for transformation and building deeper relationship. YYCI Blueprint is time, because there is time for everything. But the time that I'm referring to is our own blueprint of reaching out to our youth leaders, and young families. So on our time, we have T for transformation and training, I for inspiration and impartation, M stands for mentoring and motivation, and E stands for empowering and education. So this is all what we focus, this is what we stand for, and this is what our vision is for us to reach out to our youth, young leaders, and young family. YYCI's mission is to engage the youth mind positively and take positive actions to help them to focus and not to be distracted, to get them better and better, and also to do great things in their lives, to let them know they have greatness in them, to let them know they have everything in them to be successful and fulfilling their purpose. And once they believe in themselves, once they believe in the right information being stored in their mindset, and they take a positive action and focus on their development, then they can take action and they can also help others and the next generation to get better and lead us in a perfect way. And that is why YYCI is being established. We arranged masterclass just as the one we did this week, and we are rounding it up today. We started since Sunday. So we arrange masterclasses, workshops, conferences, and seminars monthly. After, let me just quickly say, our next our next conference, big conference, will be the Transformational Leadership Conference, will be on the 5th of August, 2023, 10 a.m. UK time. So feel free to join us. Our youth need us to guide them, lead them, mentor them, and save them from destruction, from misguided, from confusion, from those that will lead and abuse them, from child trafficking, and many, many more. Our youth need us to listen to them and give them opportunity, platform like this, to express themselves, their concerns, their ideas, their missions, their dreams, their aspiration, and their ambition and their vision. So when we give them that time, they will exhibit themselves. Our youth also, we've arranged for them to network both locally, nationally, and globally, and to empower them to do something great for their lives and future, and not waiting for anybody. We also challenge them to reposition themselves, know who they are and their why and their purpose. So the reason why we have all our great world leaders is for us to be encouraged and also to be reminded that our youth need us as a mentor. They need coach, they need advisor, they need guidance. They need us to lead the way and lay example for them to follow. And I believe that that is the greatest priority for every adult out there, all our great leaders out there, because the youth are the ones that we need to deposit all what we know, all our knowledge, our experience, our wisdom. We need to deposit it in their lives so that they can lead us to the right way. So we also have so many informations, so many programs that we do also here in YYCI. One of them is one-to-one online mentoring by Dr. Elizabeth Lucas. We also have so many, many books, which I'm going to show you shortly. Okay, without wasting any of your time, let me quickly show you the books that I'm talking about. Okay, these are all our books that we've written so far, and they are all available at www.amazon.com, www.amazon.co.uk, and then you can visit yesyoucaninternational.com or yesyoucaninternational by elizabeth.com for more information. So feel free to tune in to our Facebook Live regularly, where you can see all our previous messages, our previous events, and also to learn from our inspirational nugget of wisdom. You'll be glad to see that we've started to involve our youth. One of the book here, titled Relationship Masterclass, or Relationship Masters, was actually the handiwork of our 15 youth all over the world. They contributed their own ideas on how to build, how to maintain, and to keep any relationship, as I helped them to compile them together and form it as a book. And now it is being launched and being published, and is also available at www.amazon.com, and many, many books also. So let's go straight. We started the journey since Sunday, 2nd of July. What a way to start another new set of halfway through to 2023. Another way to start informing ourselves with the right information. So that is why we have gathered all these our great leaders with full knowledge, full wisdom, full experiences to come and share with us. We learn every day because learning is living. So all these, our leaders, they have really taught us well. So please make yourself available today again for the next section. So we have all our great that they've already contributed. All these ones, they've contributed. Now we want to go to the next person today. Professor Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay actually started his own section on the 2nd of, I think if I'm right, on the 3rd of July. So he's going to conclude it today with a powerful topic of managing relationships across generation. If you missed the part 1, please make yourself, feed yourself with the video. But for today, he's going to conclude, and we are sitting back to listen to him for the next 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And please, don't let him go without answering your questions. So if you have any questions, please write it down on your chat box, and he will be able to answer your questions. And please make sure you invite your family and friends to join in. And please share this and also make your comments. Just feel free, because it is our time to learn and to build. Okay, let me also come out and also introduce him fully. Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay is an MSc, MBA, PhD from IIT ISM Dabash or Dhanbad. I think that's one of the India. And innovative teaching practice is highly networked with the industry. He's not only teaching, but also practice, and his students do adore him for the same. He has contributed in more than 30 international journals and has published more than 23 papers in seminars and conferences. Besides, he has authored 3 amazing books on computation, yes, in estate management, transport management, and values and ethics for engineers and managers. Okay. Dr. Subrata is also on editorial board of 5 international journals and of India, recognized faculty on entrepreneurship, and a mentor to startups. He is a mentor of change in the Atta Innovation Mission of Government of India, and has been conferred the prestigious Certified Management Teacher by MTC Global for his innovative and dedicated teaching, mentoring in 2015. Also, he has successfully chaired and invited as keynote speaker in several national and international conferences in South Asia. Dr. Subrata has been awarded and recognized as the Outstanding Higher Education Leader of the Year by SOE Global Education Award in 2014, and recognized by NFED for his contribution to mentoring startups, teaching, and research for 2 consecutive years. 2013, he was conferred the prestigious MTC Global Top Thinkers Award in September 2015 and Mentor of the Year by HRD India in June 2019. He is associated as life member with ISDT, TD, ISTD, CMA, PRSI, NIPM, NHRD, NFED, ISABS, and does mentoring and consulting for various organizations. Wow, what a live introduction. Now, let's welcome Dr. Subrata.
I hope I'm audible and visible, madam.
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm really blessed to be given an opportunity for this masterclass, and this today is the second day and the concluding day of the masterclass on my session on managing relationships across generations. Uh, Thank you, respected madam, for the opportunity. I'll straight away go to the session itself. So in my last class, we discussed about several generations and how do you actually manage the relations? What are the characteristics and the traits across the different generations? Today, we'll divulge into an understanding that how these generations actually experienced different things and how the characteristics also influenced them in their generation. So starting from the silent generation, which is 1925, those born between 1925 to 1945, they witnessed the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. And they also witnessed the World War II, okay, McCarthyism. Next, we come to the boomers, and these boomers witnessed Vietnam, Woodstock, the civil rights movement, President Kennedy's assassination, Watergate, space exploration, and many others. Gen X, on the other hand, witnessed this was the time when the fall of the Berlin Wall took place, the Challenger disaster. So we are going back to the memories, right? This was the time people came to know about AIDS, about MTV, the Iranian hostage crisis, the Desert Storm, and so on. 1979 to 1995 was born between this period. We witnessed during this period 9/11, the Columbine, Google, social media, video games, Y2K, and so on. And next, we have the Gen Z, which has witnessed the Great Recession, right? The first black president, the rise of populism, and so on. So moving on. So let us understand the communication styles. In fact, I touched upon the communication styles of the different generations. So the traditionalists, that is the silence, pre-1945, the percentage of which the people who are alive now is around 2% based on a research. They are, actually not very engaged with technology. Of course, it is because of their age and because they were actually, uh, uh, they got to know about technology at a very later point of time in their life. And that is why they are largely disengaged with technology. So that's their attitude. Now, what is their preference? The preference of communication media is they want to, be in person. They want to, give formal letter and not, over WhatsApp and, over social media and, using the different latest gadgets and technologies. The baby boomers, born between 1945 and 1960, 29% of the population is still there, right? These are the people who were early adopters of personal technology, and their preference is in-person, telephone, or email if necessary. So if not necessary, they would also prefer to be in person. Then we have the Gen X, 1961 to 1980. These are actually digital immigrants, and they prefer email and text as contrasted to in-person, which is preferred by the previous two generations, that is the silents and the baby boomers. Then we have the millennials. The millennials are the ones who are natives of digital. So they are digital natives as contrasted to Gen X, who are digital immigrants. So they prefer text and social media. And the last, we have the Gen Z, born after 1995, who are not only natives, but then they are techaholics, so technoholics, right? They're dependent on technology. They cannot move out of technology, and they are exposed to the latest technologies, AI, AR, VR, uh, metaverse, and so on, which is coming up, right? Their preference is FaceTime, video chat via handheld devices or in person. So these are the different communication styles that is there in the working generations which exist at this point in time in the world, right? So I've talked about the certain of the traits. So here also certain more about the traits are there. The only thing which I did not talk about is the Gen Alpha. And this Gen Alpha has witnessed the COVID-19 pandemic already. So these are the ones which are born from 2016 to the present time. And they are not yet part of the working population. So hence their potential traits are yet to be seen. But one observation which I can actually share with you is, these people are actually, too passionate and also not content with any one thing. So they are the ones who actually want to explore more and not be resilient and contented with a particular technology, because they have seen the technology evolving, and post pandemic we have seen the mode of technology adaptation has taken place, and this is the generation that is growing with that. So uh, they adapt very fast to technologies, and also they are uh, very much inclined towards exploring newer and newer technologies as contrasted to the previous generations. Okay, so I'll not take more about these things. As you can see over here, across generations, the communication style, the problem solving attitude, the decision making, leadership style, the learning format, training, the focus, learning environment, okay, ideal leaders, performance feedback, the technology use, and the job changing actually change with time. And we need to understand all these if we need to have the generations across uh, in our organizations, in our corporates, and we need to understand these traits of the people across generations, right? So these are the 5 generations, as you can see, right? So the silent generation, the youngest members of the silent generation turned 77, 78, right? So the generation makes approximately 2%, as I said. The baby boomers, they're around 693 million, and they are yet to reach their prime retirement age, and they're still working. So they represent 21% of the approximately of the current global working population. Then you have the Gen X, right, which is the second largest group in the workforce. And in late 2018, they accounted for around 34% of the workforce, with research showing that this number isn't likely to grow. Then you have the millennial generation. So the millennial workforce is actually taking over. And these are generations which are deep into technology, right? They have been the largest generation in the workforce. And by 2030, they will make up to 40% of the global workforce population. And then we have the next generation, which is Gen Z, which is the largest generational group currently alive, with just 2 billion people around the world. And they'll soon account to approximately 25% of the global workforce. So these are the 5 generations. The silent generation has already moved out of the workforce, and these 4 generations are actually there in the workforce still. Okay, so how do you manage a generational workforce? The first step is you accept differences, that there are differences among these generations. So depending on when a generation entered the workforce, the expectations can range from needing strict deadlines to prioritizing work-life balance. So the varied expectations and the working styles may cause initial friction, but the understanding and the learning from differences could unite the team members and disrupt the silos. So very important is to accept the differences. The next is, I always say in my sessions, given a particular situation, we do 2 things. 1, we act. 2, we react. Okay. So whenever there is a change, we should embrace the change. So view generational diversity as an advantage. Multi-generational teams, they come with diversified skill sets, and this allows for problem solving from various perspectives. And in the coming each generation's trends, you are more likely to experience increased innovation and achieve optimal results. The next very important perspective in managing multi-generational workforce is to create a culture of accountability. So an environment in which all the employees across generations take personal responsibility for achieving the results, which will encourage engagement and a desire to assist in company's growth. And this could promote mutually beneficial exchange of knowledge between generations. And the 4th important tip is avoid generational stereotypes. The stereotypes in the workforce can quickly become discrimination. So if you are stereotyping, it can bring in discrimination. And please don't discriminate. If you want to nurture and groom the leaders, hire people based on their talents, their potential, and other personal traits. This is a very interesting slide. So if you want to work with the generations, you should remember this line of John C. Maxwell, wherein he said that fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. So it's easy to rely on the same people and do the same thing year after year. But we should understand that we have to work across generations. So the shoes become too big to fill, and the unintended side effect is intimidation. not to mention stagnation. So what we need to do? We need to include younger people and give them more power. We have to volunteer organizations which have the habit of asking someone to lead and then tell them exactly how it should be done. Empower the possibility. Be willing to accept radically new approaches and new ideas. Communicate opportunities and cast a broader net. Allow failure. If we do not fail, then we don't succeed. So fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. Encourage, develop, and make it okay to experiment and fail forward. Let your club be a safe place to land. So how do you go about recruiting leaders in 2023? It's all about collaboration. So we need to listen to understand. We need to empathize with others. We need to change how you do what you do. Remove hierarchical structures. So, at times we keep on building pillars and we be in our comfort zone. So remove the hierarchical structures. Respect each other's competencies and strengths and be equal in the playing field. Give level field to everyone. These are very important perspectives for everyone in the professional life to understand in 2023 about collaborating with people. I hope it is self-explanatory. What you do has far great impact than what you say. And this talks about action. Stephen Covey, author and educator. So what is the difference between traditional leaders and collaborative leaders? The leadership is changing and the future is collaborative. The traditional leaders believe power comes from position of authority, whereas collaborative leaders believe power is the greatest in a collaborative team. There is no authoritative concept in collaboration. The traditional leaders believe that maintaining ownership of information, whereas collaborative leaders openly share information and knowledge. Traditional leaders sometimes listen to the suggestions and ideas from the team, sometimes, but collaborative leaders always encourage suggestions and ideas from the team. Traditional leaders deliver the approved solution to the team, approved solution, whereas collaborative leaders facilitate the brainstorming with the team. So these are the difference between traditional and collaborative leaders with the present 2023 and beyond. We have to be collaborative leaders, wherein we have to believe in the power of collaboration, sharing information and knowledge, encouraging suggestions and ideas, and facilitate brainstorming with our teams. More about traditional and collaborative leaders is traditional leaders allocate time and resources only when proven necessary. They adhere to specific roles and responsibilities. They fight fires and focus on symptoms and evaluate success based on policy and procedures. Whereas collaborative leaders, on the other hand, enable the team by allocating time and resources right away, not when necessary. Collaborative leaders allow rules and responsibilities to evolve and fluctuate. They seek to uncover the root causes of different issues. And lastly, collaborative leaders give immediate feedback and personalized coaching to facilitate success. So let's be a collaborative leader working across the different generations that are there in the workforce. Let's build the leadership skills as a collaborative leader and not a traditional leader. So as I said, that collaborative leadership is about transformational leadership. And it is about challenging the process, enabling others to act, inspiring a shared vision, encouraging the heart, and modeling the way. So open communication is something which is prevalent among collaborative leaders. And if we have to sustain relations, manage relations, then we have to make sure that the communication flows from you to the members and from the members to you, both ways, two-way process. You want your members' thoughts and ideas. So for this reason, you need to be good connectors. Connectors serve to link people, ideas, and resources together, okay, which may not normally bump into each other. And these connections promote collaboration. And I always say that network is net worth. Network is net worth. So building connectivity, building available resources opens doors to diverse and potential new members and helps develop and strengthen service networks. All good leaders are strong connectors. They relate well and make people confident about themselves and their leadership. And our respected Queen Elizabeth is a bright example of that. Moving on, we need to recognize the skills and talents. How? So have small coffee group members, small group coffees to know how club members do better. Talk about people's hobbies, their interests, their jobs, and other areas of service. This will enhance the knowledge of the skills and open up new opportunities for connection and collaboration. Lead using your influence if you want to manage relationships across generations. Leadership is not about titles. Leadership is not about positions. Leadership is not about hierarchy or flowcharts. It's about one life influencing another. So to ensure effective collaboration, the leaders need to know when to use their influence rather than their authority to move forward, move things forward. They should learn when to halt unproductive discussions, squash politicking, and be confident in making a final call when needed. In fact, just before this meeting started, we were talking on the same lines with Madam. Next, very important for relationship management and leadership in this era across generations, set clear goals. Members need to know how to contribute to the overall club achievement. Listen, listen, and listen many times. Active listening skills, very important. So we should dream big, we should set goals, we should take action, and we should ask open-ended questions, request clarification, be attentive, we should summarize, paraphrase, reflect the feelings, and be attuned to the feelings and ask probing questions. So I'd expect some probing questions at the end of my session. Share your thought versus hold your thought. Okay, always try to share your thought so that everyone learns from each other. Encourage everyone to speak up. Break down silos. Okay. So many a times, we live in our comfort zone and we create barriers. So as a leader, you can always try to break these silos and to allow free flow of information, right? Everyone should be able to express their feelings, and there should be a flat organization and not a hierarchical organization. Very important, because it allows free flow of information, thoughts, and it creates a synergistic existence in the organization. So this can be in professional life, as well as this can be practiced in our own personal lives. The next, and this is my final slide of this masterclass, which is always turn failures into opportunities. There is no failure as long as you learn from it. And great leaders have failed many times and yet stood up, and they did not surrender to their inspiration and motivation. They actually believed that they can do. So yes, you can. If something does not work as well as we hope, don't waste time blaming or complaining. So what you should do ideally is to introspect, learn from your mistakes, and carry on with your mission. Here, I cannot resist telling the story of Thomas Edison, who failed more than 10,000 times. He was thrown out of school because his teacher felt that he was not mature as the others. And he failed more than 10,000 times. But had he not been successful, we would not have witnessed the light that we use. So it is always preferable to learn from the failures and take the cues and move on to achieving one's dreams, one's aspirations, one's ambitions. So we need to create an open, positive dialogue about what happened and what can be done differently next time. Collaborative leadership emphasizes shared responsibility, and it is everyone's job to learn from the mistakes and build on it. So get rid of all the negative emotions that you have. Get into a fresh start mindset more intelligently and talk openly. I would end this masterclass with a story, and this is a true story of APJ Abdul Kalam, the past president of India, who is called the Missile Man, because he had actually taken India to the space very successfully. So it was early 80s when Agni launch was there, and Dr. Kalam was in the team and he was working towards this Agni launch. But you know what happened? The rocket, the missile was launched, but he had actually failed to go into the nitty-gritties of the computer maintenances, and there was a failure in the computer, and as a result, crores of currency, right, was actually wasted. The missile actually went to the ocean instead of reaching the space. And Satish Dhawan, he was the leader of the group. So immediately as this failure happened, he came to the team and he said, let me call a press conference. And he called a press conference and said that this mission has failed. Why? Because we have not been able to do things properly. But this failure is mine. I have not been able to guide my team properly. But I can assure you that the next year, the same team is going to be a grand success. And the next year, the same team actually launched me into space. And then he again called a press conference. But then Satish Dhawan did not go for the press conference. He told APJ Abdul Kalam to go to the press conference and tell about the success of the Omni launch. This is what leadership is. And this is how success is. Thanks to all for your patient listening. I hope you enjoyed my session on managing relationships in across generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What an amazing teachings that you really have done. Your presentation was absolutely great. And I really appreciate you coming back to round up your teachings and also to give us more insight into what you are sharing with us. I have some questions before I could check if any of our audience, please, if you can hear me, if you have any questions, please write it on the chat box so that I can pass it on to our great speaker. But I have a question on behalf of all our audience and our YYCI members. As a leader, let me just show myself so that you will know who is asking questions. As a leader, how can we reflect on managing relationship across generation? Bear in mind that you've enlightened us this morning about it. Now, how can we reflect as a leader on managing relationship?
Yeah, so as I said, as a leader in the present generation and across generations, what you need to do is that you need to adopt a collaborative mindset. So I always say, there are three things which actually differentiates people. And this is called ASK, A-S-K. Attitude, skills, and knowledge. So one needs to be compassionate, one needs to be empathetic, one needs to be collaborative, and understand each one's strengths, weaknesses to the fullest, and try to help and support so that it is not individual, but it is the team which actually matters. And every leader, when there is a success, they stand at the back, and when there is a failure, they accept the responsibility of the failures. That's the sign of a great leader.
This your topic is so unique because sometimes we have to know the right thing to do at the right time as a leader. Because if we can understand something, that generational thinking or generational mindset is very important, because we are not going to be there forever. If we have that kind of mindset that you are not there forever, and you were not there since some people were there before you, and then when it was your time, then you take over, you reposition yourself. And when you reach a certain age, you have to let go and allow the next generation to come in. So I believe that your teaching is so valuable because it makes us to see outside the box, think outside the box. for us to know that where we are today is not permanent. So we have to prepare ourselves. And the only way we can prepare ourselves to help the generation coming is to start involving them right from now. Yes, they always say that our children are the leaders of tomorrow, but the youth are taking over. Because if you notice, most of the leaders across the board, you will notice that some of them are even less than 50 years. So they're still young, but they're ruling the nation. And that is why we need to start talking and sharing our wealth of knowledge. That will make me to want to ask this question, sir. How can we identify the right language to use for evolving younger generation?
Okay. So the right language for
Yes.
evolving your leadership, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Just like you said, that we need to involve them. We need to carry them along. But you can understand with me that we all have different language. Our adult language is different from young youth language. But how can we identify the right language
So
to involve
basically,
them?
what needs to be done, first of all, is to practice empathy. And if you understand the other person, then the right language comes automatically. So there cannot be, a common yardstick for managing relations or managing people, because no two people are the same. So what applies for me may not apply for someone else.
Yes, it's true.
So we need to understand the other person fully and sway the other person our own way through our thoughts, deeds, and actions. And gradually, what happens is that maybe someone is reluctant and someone is not willing to come my way, but then through my motivation, through my leadership skills, I will influence and make the other person also achieve success my way, the way that you are doing, madam.
That is very, very correct. Thank you so much. I have another question for you, because like I said, your topic and the way we've listened to you and the other day is bringing more questions, and we need you to answer. And the more you're answering the questions, the more the another questions is coming. But I will try to maintain the time, especially for the next speaker that is coming up. Maybe I should ask you this question again, sir. As a leader, sometimes we tend to want to use our position to control the situation or even control people, or to let people to come down to our own level, or for them to cooperate with what we want them to cooperate with. So the question I need to ask as a transformational leader, what is the differences between manipulating mindset? That means manipulating their mind with what you want to put across, or inspiring their mind. So it's the differences between manipulation and inspiration as a leader.
Well, see, this is something which is the difference, as I said, between traditional leadership and collaborative leadership, right? Whereas traditional leaders go in, well-defined ways. Collaborative leaders, they actually do not have a well-set roadmap in mind. They customize and move according to what is suited based on the situation. Right. So if you are manipulative in nature, many a times what happens is you will find in organizations that maybe, the chairman or the chairperson or, people at the helm, they have their own way or their own vision, right? And, they have their own plans, etc. But then as it trickles down the different levels, it gets distorted. And when it comes from the planning to the implementation to the execution level, right, it leads to a distorted, outcome, which possibly is thoroughly different from what the leader actually thought. So hence, if you want to go for a manipulative leadership, if your leadership structure is not flat, and if you do not take, everyone's views into consideration, then you are bound to fail in this present time. It is all about collaboration and not competition.
Right. That is it's excellent that you just shared with us. Finally, I would like to say thank you so much for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. And we've really learned a lot. People are enjoying it, and they're commenting. They say best wishes, and a lot of people are joining us. Even Professor Nada, Dr. Inga, and many more. Ben, they are all commenting, and then they are enjoying your speaking. So thank you so much but what I want you to do for me is anytime they send me their questions, I'm going to send it to you. And then I would like you to answer it and send it back to me so we can send it to them. Because we keep learning. We can't grab everything at the same time. But at the same time, when the questions now start pouring in, we need to ask the question for clarification, for better understanding. And then we'll be able to enjoy what we are doing, apply what we've learned. So thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for your time. Now I know you'll be ready to go back to class and also teach your student. But if you can wait, that's fine. If you can't wait, that's fine. We can release you. But what I want to say is thank you so much. On behalf of YYCI leaders, we'll say thank you. And for all our audience that are listening, we say thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for your question.
Can I join on Facebook Live?
Yes, you can.
Thanks.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes. That's why we have made
Thanks
it
to
like
all.
that. All right. Thank you. Thank you.